Listen to me carefully. Your feelings are lying to you. They whisper excuses, they pull you back into comfort. They beg you to stop and they tell you, not today. But your plan? Your plan is the truth. Your plan is discipline written on paper. Your plan is the version of you that sat down with clarity, with vision, and with purpose, and decided what must be done. And here's the hard truth. If you keep living by your feelings, you will stay stuck exactly where you are. Broke, weak, undisciplined. But if you follow the plan, even when it hurts, even when you don't feel like it, you will transform. Most people live in a prison built from their feelings. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel ready. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like working on my goals after a long day. And what happens? Nothing. Day after day, year after year, nothing changes. Because feelings are soft. Feelings are temporary. Feelings are like the weather. They shift, they fade, they blow in and out depending on your mood, your sleep, the comments on your post, or the number in your bank account. And if your life is being driven by the weather, don't be surprised when you're tossed around like a leaf in the storm. That's why you feel stuck. That's why you feel lost. That's why, even though you want more, you haven't been able to break through. Because every time your plan says go, your feelings scream, stay, and you keep listening to the wrong voice. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't wait for the perfect morning, the perfect mood, or the perfect circumstances. Discipline says, you do it because it's on the plan. Not because it feels good, not because you're in the mood, but because it's what you committed to. That's the difference between winners and quitters. Quitters are emotional. Winners are disciplined. A quitter waits until they feel like it. A winner shows up no matter what. Do you think champions wake up every single day with fire in their chest? Number. Do you think they love every workout, every repetition, every sacrifice? Number. But they do it anyway, because they trust the plan more than their feelings. That's what you need to learn. That's the shift. Your feelings are not your commander. Your plan is. Every time you override your feelings and choose the plan, you build strength. Every time you follow through despite resistance, you stack a brick of discipline. And brick by brick, day by day, you construct an unstoppable version of yourself. Think about it. The old you hits the snooze button. The new you gets up because it's on the plan. The old you skips the workout. The new you trains because it's on the plan. The old you procrastinates. The new you executes because it's on the plan. This is not about feelings. This is about becoming the kind of person who cannot be stopped. Comfort is the greatest thief of potential, and feelings worship comfort. Your feelings want you to stay warm, stay safe, stay average. Your plan wants you to push, to suffer, to grow, to break through. That's why it feels so hard. That's why your mind resists. Because the plan is designed to pull you forward, while your feelings are trying to chain you down. But here's the truth. Nothing worth having comes from comfort. Strength doesn't come from comfort. Confidence doesn't come from comfort. Success doesn't come from comfort. Comfort is the enemy. The plan is the weapon. Discipline is the shield. And you must choose who you will serve. There are two voices inside you. One voice is weak, emotional, fragile. It whispers, "It's okay, you can skip today. You deserve a break, start tomorrow." The other voice is strong, ruthless, unshakable. It commands, "Do it now." Follow the plan. Ignore the feelings, and every decision you make, every action you take, strengthens one voice and weakens the other. When you obey the weak voice, it grows louder. When you obey the strong voice, it takes control. So ask yourself, which voice do you want running your life? Because the weak voice leads to mediocrity, regret, and wasted years. The strong voice leads to greatness, resilience, and a life worth living. Here's the first test. Think about something on your plan that you've been putting off. Maybe it's waking up early, maybe it's cleaning your diet, maybe it's making that call, starting that project, hitting the gym. Your feelings have been winning that battle. But right now, this is the moment you flip the script. You're going to do it. Not because you feel like it, but because it's on the plan. And when you do, when you finish, when you cross that line, you'll realize something powerful. You don't need to feel like it. You just need to follow through. And that realization, that's freedom, that's power. That's the first step toward becoming unstoppable. Listen, the world doesn't care about your feelings. Life doesn't stop because you're tired. Bills don't pause because you're sad. Opportunities don't wait because you're not motivated. The world rewards execution, not emotion. And if you can't master yourself, if you can't rise above your feelings, you'll get left behind. Someone else, hungrier, tougher, more disciplined, will take the life you wanted. That's the harsh reality. But it's also the greatest opportunity. Because the moment you learn to ignore your feelings and follow the plan, you put yourself ahead of 95% of the world. Most people won't do it. Most people will stay weak. Most people will keep bowing to their emotions. But not you. Not anymore. So here we are. This is where the transformation begins. You've been living as a prisoner of feelings. Now it's time to break free. Step 1, trust the plan. Step 2, ignore the feelings. Step 3, take action no matter what. Do this today. Do this tomorrow. Do this every single day. And watch what happens. Watch your body change. Watch your mind sharpen. Watch your life elevate. Because greatness doesn't come to those who wait for the perfect mood. Greatness comes to those who act, and basically, whether they feel like it or not. So hear me loud and clear. Feelings are temporary. Discipline is forever. Follow the plan. Ignore the feelings. And become unstoppable. You are not tired. You are untrained. You are not broken. You are undisciplined. That's the truth. Your body has more in it. Your mind has more in it. But your feelings convince you to stop before you even test your limits. Think about this. How many dreams have died in the graveyard of "I don't feel like it"? Why do you think so many people start but never finish? Why do people sign up for the gym in January and vanish by February? Why do people start projects, businesses, or diets and then quit after a week? Because they confuse feelings with commitment. They think motivation is fuel, but motivation is sugar and it burns fast, then it's gone. Discipline is steel. Discipline doesn't burn out. Discipline is forever. I once heard the story of a soldier in training who hadn't slept in 2 days. His commander ordered him to run. He thought his body would collapse, but he followed the order mile after mile. And what shocked him wasn't that he survived, but that his legs kept moving long after his feelings told him he couldn't. That's what you'll discover when you follow the plan. You are stronger than you feel. Here's a fact you can't ignore. Over 80% of people set goals every year, but by February, most have already quit. Why? Not because they didn't have a plan, but because they didn't follow it when their feelings got heavy. That statistic should terrify you, because it means if you can ignore your feelings and stick to the plan, you instantly outpace the majority of the world. Picture this. It's early morning. Your alarm goes off. One version of you rolls over, hits snooze, and wakes up hours later, groggy, behind schedule, and full of regret. The other version of you gets up on time. The cold air hits your face. Discipline carries you into your workout. And by the time the world wakes up, you've already won the first battle of the day. Which version do you think wins in life? The one who followed the plan. Pain is the price of progress. Avoiding pain is the guarantee of staying the same. That's the trade. You either suffer now, in discipline, in effort, in sacrifice, or you suffer later in regret. One is short-term pain. The other is lifelong misery. Which one are you willing to carry? There's a quote I'll never forget. If you only work on the days you feel good, you will never achieve anything great. Think about that. Every great athlete, every successful entrepreneur, every resilient fighter, they all had more days where they didn't feel like it than days when they did. But they still executed. That's why they're great. Here's the challenge. Today, don't ask yourself how you feel. Ask yourself, what's the plan? Then execute it. Do this once, then twice, then make it a habit. Soon, you'll realize you're building a life where action rules over emotions. And that's the life of a champion. Most people say they want change, they talk about it, they dream about it. But when the moment comes, when it's time to act, they hesitate. They negotiate. They bow down to comfort. Contrast that with the person who doesn't care about feelings. Alarm rings, they're up. Work needs to be done, it's done. Hard conversation ahead, they face it, workout scheduled, they crush it. One life ends in excuses, the other ends in greatness. Silence. Think about your life right now. Where would you be if you had followed the plan every single day for the last year? How much stronger, how much wealthier, how much more confident, how much closer to your goals? That silence you hear right now, that's regret. And the only way to silence regret is to follow the plan starting today. Your problem is not that you're incapable. Your problem is that you listen to feelings that don't deserve a vote. You're tired? So what? You're stressed. Do it anyway? You're scared? Follow through. You're not in the mood? Too bad. The plan is greater than the mood. Do you know what happens when you ignore your feelings? Something incredible. You unlock power because you realize that action creates feeling, not the other way around. You think you need to feel motivated to go to the gym. Wrong. You go to the gym and that action creates motivation. You think you need to feel confident to start the business. Wrong. You start the business and that action creates confidence. Action drives feeling, not the other way around. Here's the brutal truth. You've wasted enough time waiting on feelings. How many years have you already lost? How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? How many opportunities have you let slip away because you were tired, scared, or distracted? That stops now, because every day you waste is one day you don't get back. Time is the one resource you can't replace. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be superhuman. You just have to be consistent. Follow the plan with relentless persistence. And even if you crawl, even if you move slow, even if progress is tiny, you're still ahead of everyone sitting around waiting for their feelings to change. Consistency beats intensity. Discipline beats emotion. Execution beats intention. So here's where we land. You have a plan. That plan is your map, your weapon, your blueprint. Feelings are distractions. Ignore them. Trust the map. Walk the path. Build momentum day by day. Because the truth is, feelings fade, but results remain. And 1 year from now, when people look at your progress, they won't ask how you felt. They'll ask how you did it. And you'll know the answer. I followed the plan. I ignored the feelings. That's why I'm here. And when that day comes, you won't just feel different. You'll be different. Stronger. Sharper. Unstoppable. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants confidence. Everyone wants freedom, but few are willing to sacrifice their feelings for it. That's why the world is full of dreamers but empty of finishers. Think about it. How many people do you know who talk about change but never change? They say they're going to start working out. They say they're going to save money. They say they're going to chase their dreams. But months pass, years pass, and they're in the exact same place. Do you know why? Because every time the plan demands effort, their feelings demand comfort, and they choose comfort. Here's the reality. Discipline is not glamorous. Waking up early isn't glamorous. Saying no to junk food isn't glamorous. Grinding late at night while everyone else is relaxing isn't glamorous. But you know what is glamorous? The results. The body. The bank account. The freedom, the respect, the life you earn when you follow the plan. You don't fall in love with the grind, you fall in love with what the grind produces. Ask yourself this, what kind of person do you want to be remembered as? The one who always said, I don't feel like it? Or the one who built something unstoppable no matter how they felt? Legacy isn't built on feelings, legacy is built on consistency. There's a simple formula for success. Plan plus discipline equals transformation. That's it. It doesn't matter where you come from, how much money you have, or how much talent you were born with. If you can create a plan and then follow it regardless of how you feel, you win every single time. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. Halfway up, your legs are burning, your lungs are on fire, and your feelings are begging you to stop. But if you stop, you never see the view. If you push, if you ignore the pain, if you follow the path all the way, you stand at the summit victorious. That's life. Most people stop halfway because it hurts. Winners keep climbing. Let me tell you this. Feelings don't build empires. Feelings don't create champions. Feelings don't produce greatness. Plans do. Discipline does. Relentless execution does. So if you're waiting for feelings, you'll never get there. But if you follow the plan, nothing can stop you. You've been lied to. You've been told to listen to your heart. You've been told to wait until it feels right. That advice keeps people weak because feelings are unstable. They change daily. And if your commitment changes with your emotions, you'll never build anything that lasts. Stop waiting for the right mood. Start trusting the right plan. Do you know what separates professionals from amateurs? Amateurs do it when they feel like it. Professionals do it because it must be done. An amateur says, I'll work when I'm motivated. A professional says, I'll work no matter what. That's the line. Which side are you on? Look back at your life. Look at the moments when you gave up, when you skipped, when you delayed. Did any of those decisions make your life better? Number. They only made you weaker, smaller, less confident. Now look at the moments when you pushed through, when you ignored the voice in your head, when you followed the plan. Those were the moments that built pride, strength, and momentum. The lesson is obvious. One path destroys you. The other path builds you. You keep telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow is a myth. Tomorrow is where procrastinators hide their dreams until they die. If it's on the plan, do it now. Not later, not someday, now. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards results. Nobody cares that you meant to wake up early. Nobody cares that you meant to start the project. Nobody cares that you meant to follow the diet. What matters is what you actually do. And the only way to do it is to stop waiting for feelings and start obeying the plan. Think about the greatest moments in your life. Did they come easy or did they come after sacrifice? Did they come when you were comfortable or when you pushed past resistance? Everything worth having is on the other side of I don't feel like it. Your body is designed to survive. That means your brain will constantly send signals to stop, to rest, to take it easy. But you're not here to survive. You're here to thrive. Survival is the minimum. Thriving is the reward. And thriving only comes when you go beyond what feels safe. Here's the truth. You already know what to do. The plan is clear. Wake up. Work hard. Train. Eat right. Save money, build your craft. Stay disciplined. The problem isn't knowledge. The problem is feelings. But once you learn to ignore feelings, execution becomes automatic. You stop negotiating with yourself and you start living as a weapon. Most people think freedom comes from doing what you feel like. Wrong. Freedom comes from doing what you planned consistently until it creates results that feelings alone could never give you. Freedom is the product of discipline. You will face days when you want to quit. You will face moments when your body screams, enough. But those are the exact moments when growth is happening. Those are the exact moments when you're breaking through limits. If you can endure discomfort a little longer, you'll step into a version of yourself you never thought possible. So here's the challenge for you. For the next 7 days, stop asking, how do I feel? Only ask, what's the plan? Then execute. 7 days of pure discipline. 7 days of ignoring feelings. 7 days of following through no matter what. Do that, and you'll see proof that you're capable of far more than you believed. Because the truth is, discipline compounds. Every time you choose the plan over feelings, you gain power. And that power builds, day after day, choice after choice, until one morning you wake up unstoppable. And on that day, you'll finally understand what it means to live free. You want to know the truth? Discipline is not a punishment. Discipline is freedom. When you follow the plan, you stop living as a slave to mood swings. You stop living in guilt and regret. You gain control. You gain strength. You gain respect for yourself. Freedom is on the other side of discipline. How many times have your feelings betrayed you? Think about it. You felt tired, so you skipped the gym. You felt nervous, so you didn't take the opportunity. You felt lazy, so you wasted another day scrolling, binge watching, numbing your potential. And after every one of those choices, did you feel better? You felt worse. You felt regret. Feelings trick you with short-term comfort, but leave you with long-term pain. The plan does the opposite. Short-term pain, long-term power. Imagine two futures. In one, you follow your feelings. You keep skipping, delaying, avoiding. 5 years pass and you're weaker, more broke, more stuck. In the other future, you ignore your feelings, follow the plan, and execute. 5 years pass and you're stronger, wealthier, unstoppable. Which future will you choose? Most people underestimate how much control they actually have. They think they're powerless against emotions. But that's not true. Every time you act according to the plan instead of your feelings, you're proving you are in control. It doesn't matter if you're scared. Do it scared. It doesn't matter if you're tired. Do it tired. It doesn't matter if you're unmotivated. Do it unmotivated. That's how warriors are built. I once heard about a boxer who trained every single day, no matter how he felt. Rain, sickness, exhaustion. It didn't matter. Someone asked him, "Why do you keep training when you don't feel like it?" He said, "Because my opponent might be training when I'm not." That's the mentality. Somewhere out there, someone is working while you're resting. Someone is pushing while you're hesitating. Someone is following the plan while you're making excuses. And when you meet them in business, in competition, in life, they will win. Here's the secret. Discipline doesn't just build results, it builds identity. When you ignore your feelings and follow the plan, you start to see yourself differently. You stop identifying as weak, lazy, or inconsistent. You start identifying as strong, reliable, unshakable. And when your identity changes, your life changes. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose trust in yourself. That's why you feel weak. That's why you feel stuck. Because deep down, you know you don't keep your own word. But every time you follow the plan, even in small things, you rebuild that trust. You prove to yourself that your word means something. And that self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Here's what you need to remember. You don't have to control your feelings. You just have to ignore them. Stop trying to fix your mood before taking action. Stop waiting until you feel motivated. Just take the action anyway. And once you act, your feelings will catch up. Discipline first. Feelings later. Picture this. It's raining outside, cold and miserable. You don't feel like running, but you lace up your shoes anyway. You run through the rain, soaked, shivering, but you finish. When you get home, exhausted, you don't regret it. You feel alive, you feel proud. That's the paradox. You'll never regret following the plan, but you'll always regret following your feelings. So many people think discipline is restrictive. They think it's about saying no to life. But the truth is, discipline is what allows you to say yes to the life you want. Without discipline, you say yes to comfort and you miss the bigger opportunities. With discipline, you say no to distractions, so you can say yes to greatness. Look at the most successful people in the world. Athletes, leaders, creators. Do you think they always felt like doing the work? Number. But they did it anyway. Michael Jordan trained when he didn't feel like it. Kobe Bryant practiced at 4 a.m. when he was exhausted. Entrepreneurs build businesses while broke and stressed. Champions are not built on feelings. They're built on plans executed with ruthless consistency. The problem is that you're addicted to comfort. You think if you're uncomfortable, something is wrong. But the opposite is true. If you're uncomfortable, it means you're growing. If you're uncomfortable, it means you're on the right path. Comfort is the enemy. Growth lives in discomfort. Stop chasing the feeling of motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire. Motivation gets you started once. Discipline keeps you moving forever. And here's the truth, discipline itself creates motivation. The more you follow the plan, the more momentum you build. The more momentum you build, the more unstoppable you feel. If you want real change, commit to this. For the next 30 days, feelings are irrelevant. You wake up when the alarm rings. You do the workout on the schedule. You execute the tasks on the plan. No negotiation, no excuses. Do this and watch how fast your life transforms. Because every day you give in to feelings, you reinforce weakness. Every day you obey the plan, you reinforce strength. It's not about the size of the action, it's about the consistency of the action. Brick by brick, habit by habit, you are building a fortress of discipline that nothing can break. Here's the truth you must accept. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to drag you out of bed. Nobody is going to force you to eat clean, to train, to study, to build. It's you versus you. Your plan versus your feelings. And the one you feed will win. So decide, right here, right now, stop bowing to feelings. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop negotiating with your weaker self. Follow the plan. Ignore the feelings. And watch yourself become unstoppable. You've heard it all before. Trust the process. But most people don't. They trust their emotions instead. And that's why they fail. If you only do the work when you feel like it, you'll never get anywhere. Winners do the work whether they feel like it or not. That's why they win. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually stuck to a plan fully? No excuses, no breaks, no giving in, just raw execution. The truth is, most people have never done it. They've never given themselves the chance to see what happens when you actually go all in. Imagine this. 90 days of discipline. 90 days of ignoring the voice that says, not today. 90 days of following through no matter what. What would your body look like? What would your bank account look like? What would your confidence feel like? That's not a fantasy, that's a decision. Here's the contrast. Ordinary people let feelings drive their life. Extraordinary people let discipline drive their life. One group is ruled by moods. The other group rules their moods. One group quits when it's hard. The other group pushes harder when it's hard. One group feels regret. The other group feels pride. Which group do you want to belong to? There's a silent killer holding millions back, and it's not lack of talent. It's not lack of opportunity. It's not even lack of motivation. It's lack of discipline. Talent without discipline rots. Dreams without discipline die. But discipline without talent, it wins. Because discipline compounds. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the strongest. If you can out-discipline the competition, you can outlast them, outwork them, and ultimately you can beat them. Visualize this. You wake up, alarm blaring at 5 a.m. The bed is warm, the world is silent, and your body begs you to stay down. But you rise. You get up, you move, you execute the plan. That one decision sets the tone for your entire day. You chose strength over weakness. You chose growth over comfort. You chose the future over the present. Now multiply that decision by 365 days. Imagine who you would become. Here's a brutal truth. Most people will never see their true potential, not because they're unlucky, but because they keep letting feelings win. They let laziness win. They let fear win. They let self-doubt win. And every time they surrender, they bury their greatness deeper. But you have a choice. You can dig it out. You can uncover it with every disciplined action. Listen carefully. Success doesn't belong to the emotional. It belongs to the disciplined. The world doesn't reward how you feel. It rewards what you do. The market doesn't care about your excuses. It cares about your execution. Life doesn't bend for the lazy. It bends for the relentless. And you become relentless when you ignore feelings and follow the plan. There will come days when you feel broken. Days when you feel empty. Days when everything in you screams to quit. Those days are not the enemy. Those days are the opportunity. Because on those days, when you choose to execute anyway, you are rewriting your destiny. You are telling the universe, I cannot be moved. I cannot be stopped. Remember this. Pain is temporary. Regret is permanent. The discomfort of discipline will pass, but the shame of giving in, of wasting years, of never reaching your potential, that stays with you forever. So choose your pain wisely. The pain of discipline is sharp but clean. The pain of regret is endless. Every champion you admire has mastered this. They didn't wait for motivation. They didn't pray for easier days. They built themselves in the fire of discipline. Champions are forged when the world sleeps. Champions are built when nobody's watching. Champions rise because they follow the plan, not their feelings. Here's the challenge. For the next year, commit to this principle. Follow the plan, ignore the feelings. If you say you'll work out, you work out. No debate. If you say you'll build your business, you show up. No excuses. If you say you'll study, you study. No negotiations. 1 year of discipline will change your entire life. Think about it. You are one decision away from a different future. Every time you choose the plan over feelings, you are choosing the stronger version of yourself. And every time you do that, the gap between who you are and who you could be begins to close. Soon there will be no gap. There will only be the you that followed through. The battlefield is not out there in the world. The battlefield is inside your head. It's you versus the voice that says, not today. It's you versus the temptation to quit. It's you versus the weakness that wants to steal your destiny. But if you follow the plan, you win that battle. And if you win enough battles, you win the war. You will not always see results immediately. Some days it will feel like nothing is changing. That's when most people give up. But the disciplined know something different. Progress is invisible before it is undeniable. The seeds you plant today will not grow tomorrow, but if you water them daily, one morning the entire field will bloom. Discipline is the watering. Discipline is the planting. Discipline is the harvest. Final message. Stop negotiating with your emotions. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop listening to excuses. Your feelings don't define you. Your actions do. Your comfort doesn't build you. Your discipline does. Your excuses won't save you. Your execution will. Follow the plan. Ignore the feelings. And rise into the strongest, most unstoppable version of yourself. Because when discipline becomes your standard, nothing and no one can break you.